Well, good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And well, as you're going to be seeing, there has been quite a lot of work has been taking place here, and quite a few changes. We've sort of got this basically tamed down, except for the bugs. I'll tell you, that's probably the biggest downside that I found here is you better be wearing a hat when you're walking around, because boy oh boy, those deer fly. They just go and they kind of dive bomb the back of your head. It drives you nuts when you're walking around. And funny enough, when you put a hat on, they just go for the head. You don't notice it. So anyways, that's the only downside that I found so far. It's absolutely wonderful here. The air is clear. We've just had some rain. It's blown all of the humidity out of the air, and wow, this place is starting to take a little bit of shape. Okay, so let's take a little walk around, and I'll show you some of the changes that have happened, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't take much rain to bring things back again, and I don't know whether you can see here, but this has been seeded with two kinds of oregano. Here is one here. Let's see if we can find the other one. It's a broader leaf. I believe it is this one here. Anyways, the flowers on this are unbelievable, and this is a great pollinator plant, because we are desperately in need of our pollinators and helping them out, and this is one way. You know, this is a difficult area to mow, and so yes, we've been overseeding with herbs. There's some thyme in here as well, I believe, and it's growing wild. You just keep mowing it down to get the grass down until it really gets a good hold, and then you see it start spilling out over the rocks, and it will eventually choke out all of the grass. And I told you about the invasion of the blackberries. Well, that is an understatement. And I don't know if you can see up there the berries that are forming on those bushes. But I think with the rain we've just had, we probably had about 12 inches of rain in the last 2.5 weeks. It has been absolutely unbelievable. There has been power outages in the area, there's been thunder and lightning and so on and so forth, but the solar panels have held up, and I haven't lost my hydro at all, or the internet, which is of course satellite based. I'm really starting to enjoy the independence of that situation. So in general, I've just been picking the onions as I go. The second year onions are starting to put out some seed pods, and I'm going to keep some of those seed pods for future years. The garlic is starting to finish off. Everything's weird because I arrived here at such a strange time, you know, April, May, June and into July. It was just so busy with the moving. But anyways, I got all my lettuces transplanted, and there are some peas, so there will at least be some bounties from the garden this year. But yes, what a difference a few short weeks make as far as bringing out the beauty in this property. And as you can see, my pup there has settled down. She has settled right into this place. She just loves it. She is the cock of the walk, and she patrols this property with me all the time. So we've got beans, these bush beans. I didn't want to be bothered with runner beans. Kale. I don't know what happened to my kale this year. I'm going to have to replant again. I got one kale there, another kale. I put beets in here. The beets didn't come up. I have no idea whether they're old seeds or what is going on. But the beets, I'll be collecting beet greens soon. And carrots, of course. Now you can see I put this wire around the base of the raised bed to try and prevent critters, but I have also ordered a thing called a spray crow, and this is a motion sensor lawn watering. So if an animal goes past, the spray comes on and scares them off, and I got a friend who's got one. He says that they're unbelievably effective. Potatoes are doing well. They were late in, so we've missed the potato bug season. On the other side there are white beans, and of course the squash. So as you can imagine, maintaining a property like this is quite a lot of work, and of course you'll see in a minute the biggest portion of the work is getting prepared for winter. And this is why people who have a severe winter like we do are busily thinking, even in the beautiful weather like this, about how we're going to keep ourselves warm in the winter. Now, I don't know whether I told you, I don't think you'll be able to see in here because they like to get down the bottom, but I have put minnows in here to eat the mosquito larvae, and of course the mosquitoes are attracted to this open water, and they to lay their eggs in, and of course there is my minnows waiting for them. Oh, these here are mouse traps, rolling tin mouse traps. I'm sure you've seen them. So you put a little ladder up there and some water in those buckets, and the mouse goes on to get the peanut butter and rolls into the bucket. But yes, this has been my main focus, and finally I've learned how to sharpen a chainsaw with a rat tail file and not bugger it up, but we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Thank God for that. This I'll probably finish off in the fall, but I want to get all of this split up and stacked so it'll start drying. Now, luckily, because it is a wood furnace, it doesn't need to be quite as short as for a regular wood stove. Yeah, we just got the splitter back from the repair. One of the studs on the carburetor had broken off, and in the course of the block. So, and it just reminds you, you know, of all these little things that go wrong, you know, when you are on machinery and equipment. And it was quite difficult to get that part. We've been noticing this a lot. Hard to get parts these days. Hard to get parts. Here is more oregano and thyme right here. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And of course you can see over there chives. This here used to be a chicken pen, and of course unfortunately time has taken its toll and nature has started to creep in, but once that wood is done, this is going to be one of my first projects, is to tidy this up, and we are going to be getting some chickens. Created a space for the wood here. So that'll keep it off the ground and it's well covered. The trick with wood is to allow the air to blow through it. More than the sunlight, it's the air. And as soon as you start seeing these radial cracks coming in, you'll know that it's starting to season and dry out. I was a little concerned, but no, it's looking good. I think we're going to be okay for winter. Back here is a bit of a storage area. It's a nice private little area, and that's where my workshop is, in that container. and I started cutting some trails through the bush. I've got one starting right here, and the canopy is so complete when you get underneath here. Look at the raspberries. Not only blackberries on this piece of property, but there are raspberries. Look at that. I get a feed every day. I go past, there's a few more berries are ripe. This, by the way, used to be a wind turbine, and it was nothing but problems, and that is why they went over to solar. So yeah, you can see there's plenty of places for trails in here, and how beautiful. Some wonderful rocky outcrops. That's one of the great things about this area, and I will do a drive around one day because it is such a shift from the rolling countryside of the limestone base into this hard granite Canadian shield. Now, one of the things I have gotten back into is the good old-fashioned charcoal barbecue, and man, does meat ever taste good done this way. It's a little bit of a pest to get things going, and you know, you've got to think ahead about 20 minutes, but I'll tell you, the taste is just unbelievable. Yep. This boy ain't eating no bugs, not when there's this food around. Yeah. And that big rib there, that's for the dog. She just loves a rib with a little barbecue sauce on it. Now, I won't cook it all the way through, so it's just a little bit raw in the center, and man, does she ever love that. Yeah, there's a few more left to go. I tell you, this was a big beech tree. Oh my God. Sad to see we're going to be losing our beech trees. They've got a fungus in them, and they're all dying like this. You can see the side of that beech tree there. The mighty beech. So the other trails I've been cutting in here are towards the back of the property, and you know, I'll tell you, ever since I've been retired and living up here, I can see how you can just start drifting. Oh my God, the days just seem to slide one into the other, and you know, to be quite honest with you, there are times when I go out where I'm absolutely stunned. You know, I went into the supermarket today. I was down in Peterborough to visit a friend and did some shopping down there, and I was the only person in the store not wearing a mask. I don't know what to say. You know, it's summertime. Well, we've gone into our seasonal drop-off in flus. The way that they are misrepresenting this Delta variant is unbelievable. You know, they really skirt around the whole idea. Yes, we know they become more virulent. Yes, if you're at risk, there is a risk if you have comorbidities. But in general, even though these viruses become more virulent, they end up being less lethal to the person who doesn't have any immune issues, and it will eventually mutate down to a common cold. That's what happens. It's called natural selection. And yet that's not the story that I'm hearing when I catch the mainstream media on the internet. Like I say, it's just unbelievable that people are not waking up. You know, does nobody have, you know, like a bullshit sensor anymore? I was listening to a chap I've been going to quite a bit in England, Carl Vernon. I will leave you a link to his channel, and he was talking the other day about realizing when people are bluffing when they're playing poker, and one of the bluffs is called overplaying your, or one of the mistakes that people who are bluffing make is overplaying your hand. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but aren't you suspicious at the heavy-handed sell that's going on this whole inoculation thing? Wow. And again, I think, although it is difficult to watch, I think this is probably a good thing in the long run, because, you know, after a while, well, you know, we've all had that salesman that just comes on too strong, right, and it ends up being more of a turn-off. And I really do think the system is coming undone at the seams, and they are just grasping for control, and they're throwing everything they possibly can. Everything. And this, of course, is overplaying the hand. Look at that, she just loves it out here. And who wouldn't? It's a dog's life, right? So, I guess I'm saying this because I would urge you to hang on, to not be burdened by this, because this is a heavy duty situation. There's no doubt about it. This is a head game going on, and it's a head game that's being played in such a way that it feels like a battleship coming at you. It feels like a battleship coming at you with all guns ablazing, with all kinds of propaganda and scare tactics, and you know, we've been through every kind of variant and mutation and name change that you can possibly think of, all in an effort to scare the bejesus out of you. Well, is that really necessary? You know, this is overplaying your hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. There comes a point, you know, where reality just takes over and kicks in, because you just can't hide the devastating effects that have been wrought upon people through, you know, this lockdowns and all of this kind of stuff, business collapses and failures and marriage breakdowns, all kinds of stuff going on as a direct result. And I mean, I cannot believe how many people have been affected by this. And again, why they are so silent. Good friend of mine, a great channel, Stefan Verstappen, he thinks that we're probably out of luck in North America. We thought that this would be the place where there'd be some resistance, but like I say, when you are the only person in the supermarket not wearing a mask, and people are looking at you, and they're pouring out this, oh, I'm a variant factory. Oh yeah, look out for that guy. Fit and healthy all his life. You know, no medication. When I go and see a specialist for something, like when I went in for my hernia, I mean, they couldn't believe that I'm on no medication and that I'm 67 years old. I mean, like, I thought that was normal. But I guess most people go in with a bag of pills, and yeah. Anyway, thankfully I'm up here, and I am just going to sit this out. I'm going to, well, I said I was going to make videos, and you know, I'm probably going to do some updates, but to be quite honest with you, it's just gotten so crazy out there. It's like, it's endless. It's absolutely endless. The you know, the cancel culture, the upside down nature of the world today, the way people are reacting, the way that you can't even have a discussion with people. I mean, like, it's just, wow, this is so over the top. I don't think that any of us have experienced anything like this in our lives. And well, I'll tell you, if you are a psychologist or a psychiatrist, you are going to have literally centuries of work ahead of you to bring people down when this is all over. There will be such emotional scarring. Like I say, I don't think people have had such a wrench as this since probably the Second World War. You know, where it was a worldwide encompassing event that threw everybody for a loop, and it involved everybody. You know, I don't think we've been through anything like that, and I don't think anyone alive today, except the oldest of people, and even they probably wouldn't correlate what's going on today with what happened then. But certainly all the younger people, yeah. So we are going to have an interesting time ahead, because as Stefan said, I believe this is at a point that they pulled all the plugs, and this is essentially, as far as you and I are concerned, unstoppable. And it's going to fall apart, and that's what we have to do, is to keep ourselves sane, figure out a survival strategy, and put your heads down and ignore the crazies. I've kind of stopped engaging them. You know, someone said, well, you should, but you can't have a conversation even. You know, you're wrong and they're right, and that's that and all about it, and there is no evidence, there's no proof, there's nothing that you can say that will convince them otherwise. And so of course when you reach that point, it's either going to come to blows or shouting, or you walk away. So yeah, what can you do? Encourage people in these videos to keep your heads up. Don't let this get you down. Remember, one of their key weapons against you is crushing of hope. And that's because they live a life of hopelessness, regardless of how grandiose it looks to you. Because, well, why would you want to crush other people's hope? If you were hopeful, you wouldn't do shit like that. Okay? So yes, these people are desperate, hopeless individuals who are empty vessels. They are grasping at the hedonistic life without regard for other people, and now all of the crap that they swept under the rug for the last, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years, all the money problems, the debt problems, not recognizing the ongoing and incessant effect of inflation on people's incomes, using debt to replace that. I mean, who couldn't figure that out? That you use debt as a solution to inflation, that it isn't going to lead to some kind of problem, for a whole ton of people. I mean, come on, wake up. Anyway, the upside of this is that it's led me to meet a whole bunch of new people, to live a whole different lifestyle. To be quite honest with you, I mean, you talk about manifestation, but this, where I'm living right now, this is what I have dreamed of having myself, this situation. So did I bring this into being, or did I just happen to see an opportunity and took the opportunity for what it was? And who knows? Who knows? The world is a mysterious place, and I am not counting out anything. And as we move, well, we're fully, our solar system is now fully within the bounds of Aquarius, and so we are into manifestation big time. So watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts, and do not allow these people to crush your hope. If that's the only thing you do, for your sake, whether it works to be hopeful or not, or whether it's a chimera that you're chasing to chase hope, who knows? But for your own sake, to keep your chin up and to stay on top of this, because it is daunting. There's no doubt about it. It is daunting. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope the weather where you are is great, and that you're not being flooded out as they are in Europe right now. Terrible situation. And we will talk to you very, very shortly. You take care now. Bye.